It will certainly start generating power. We have many more power projects in the pipeline. Power will not be a problem, according to me, for industries. But water is going to be the main challenge. We need to go in for recycling of water, rain harvesting.
Thank you. I think the questions will go on. We can exchange our views during the lunch time. Thank you all for having this session more interesting. Now may I request Mr. A.N. Chandramouli, Senior Vice President, BCSC, to do the concluding remarks.
Mr. V.P. Baligar, Chairman Managing Director of KSTC, Government of Karnataka. Mr. Nobuyuki Yamamoto-san, Council and Consul of Embassy of Japan, Bangalore. Mr. Ian Felton, Deputy High Commissioner, British Deputy High Commission, Bangalore. Mr. Jayant Chatterjee, Senior Vice President, Regional Head, South, ICRA Limited. And my colleagues, Mr. Harish, President of Bangalore Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Anuj, Vice President, and Mr. Sampath, Secretary General, distinguished invitees, members of the Bangalore Chamber of Commerce, representatives of the media, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to all of you. I think it was a wonderful session we had in the last couple of hours. This can go on and on. This should be actually a full day seminar, and I'm sure Bangalore Chamber of Commerce will put together a whole day seminar on this subject, and by which time I'm sure there will be some action on the ground, as Mr. Baligar was explaining during the question and answer session. And I would like to really thank Mr. Baligar, who took the initiative, in fact, in organizing this wonderful seminar on the auspices of the annual general meeting, which is happening today for the Bangalore Chamber of Commerce. And I take this opportunity to invite all of you here for the evening session at 6 o'clock in the same premises, which is an AGM function, and we have excellent speakers as well in the evening session. To give some glimpse of the kind of thoughts that we exchanged today, I think it will not be, I can't do justice to that, but a few thoughts which were shared today are very, very important takeaways, and I would like to summarize them for the benefit of the audience. Is the number one, the first and foremost, is the new Prime Minister who's taken over, Mr. Narendra Modi, has talked about the 3S principle, the number one being the scale, and the number two is the speed, and the three is the skill. And I think you heard enough today on how to improve the scale of economies in the days to come. And we have the Keynesian theory, where when we have the deep depression, which happened in 1930s, the only way the economies can take off and flourish is to build on the infrastructure of the particular economy. I think that theory still holds, while there are many criticism of the Keynesian theory in all these decades, but I think still holds. And what happened in 2009 with those small stimulus packages in China and in India and so many countries did not have the desirable effect. And after a small blip of a growth in 2011 and 2012, thereafter we started getting the negative growth. And I would like to thank Mr. Jayant Chatterjee to make the good beginning today on emphasizing the issue of the growth, which was once again brought together by the other speakers today. I think the most important other factor for today's seminar and the days to come is a regional development. Much has been talked about the congestion in Bangalore, but I think very soon we'll start talking about the congestion in Tumkur, I'm sure. So I think we need to look at all the 4 zones in the corridor, sir. I think we should get the approval, as you said, quote unquote, from the JICA as well as from the Prime Minister to go ahead with all the 4 zones. You need to look at not just one zone at a time, my recommendation would be, because I think the upcountry, Karnataka, has got a great hunger for these kind of industries to develop. I think the example of what's happening in the DMIC should also repeat in the CBCIC. I try to remember the abbreviations, but my friend told me it's very simple. Just remember Bangalore Chamber of Industry and Commerce. It's part of CBCIC. So I think we will have a detailed seminar on the NIMZ, and a lot of precautions have been given today to create an ecosystem before even launching the various projects. And the first and foremost should be, in my own experience, is to have a power generation unit in the NMIZ in Tumkur before you go to the industry to start selling the lands. because that is the success of the Gujarat model and the power generation, which was done by the Torrent, which became the power generation unit in Ahmedabad, is a brilliant example of why the industries in Gujarat took off. And the 50,000 crores which you are laying down, Mr. Baligar, is the first and foremost priority should be the power generation, and not just the gas-based power generation, but you need to have also look at the various other possibilities. The poor infrastructure, the difficult to do business, and the increasing unemployment and the unemployability of the people has been much flogged about theories. But as our friends told here today, we do not have in the whole of this morning presentation a schedule of implementation of these ambitious projects. And I request Mr. Baligar to put together in the next whole day seminar, which will be a kind of a workshop in the same forum, a schedule of implementation which the industry can track and the citizens also can track, like the Sakala. I think, needless to mention, to move the manufacturing GDP from 15% to 25%, we need to learn the lessons from the Western world as well as the Eastern world. And I think it is an excellent opportunity today to interact with Mr. Ian Felton from England and Mr. Yamamoto-san from Japan, who gave us their wisdom of how to go about in these projects, not only the funding support, but also the project management skills, which we sadly lack in this country, as well as the state of Karnataka. We need to bring in those skills from these countries, and I think the education process is still on. And a few other points are made today is we are in the best position between Chennai, Bangalore and Mumbai. The 50% of the auto exports from southern India was mentioned this morning by Mr. Jayanta Chatterjee, and to that you add 80% of the IT exports. I think we are in the best of the both worlds, both in the service sector as well as manufacturing sector. And with the PPP model, I am sure we'll have the fantastic growth with these corridors coming in this economy, the South Indian economy, I would like to put it as. And the strategic partnership between Japan and India, 71 Japanese companies already on board, and with the excellent infrastructure in the Malur area, with the Honda motorcycles coming down, and the Toyota already flourishing, which is one of the best infrastructure. And we have the doyens of the aerospace industry today with us today, and with the HAL being the forerunner. And I'm glad to inform you that Bangalore Chamber of Commerce is doing a yeoman service in building skills in the aerospace sector. Mr. Saxena is leading that mission and the vision. And with $174 million over the next 20 years, I think that's a very, very reasonable, fair assessment of the lead time of this project by Mr. Yamamoto-san. The $174 million on the ground over the next 20 years will be the right way to look at it. 2 years for land acquisition and concurrent engineering or concurrent processes while the land is being acquired. I think some of our friends pointed out, please give the pre-approval for those projects and let environmental clearance don't come in the way. And sustainable development with the aerospace sectors and high-tech sectors for which Bangalore stands for is some of the thoughts shared today. Let me not give another long speech today, but before I forget, let me thank all the speakers today on this occasion and to take time off and come down here. But it will not be fair on my part if I don't thank Mr. Jayanta Chatterjee, who really did the kickstart today and did the comprehensive presentation. And from ICRA, he is going to do a lot of other work for Bangalore Chamber of Commerce. And let me tell you, on the subject of NIMZ alone, we will have a one-day workshop in the similar forum. Let me also thank the 40 sponsors who made this function possible this morning and also the afternoon sessions, and the media who is going to do excellent coverage. Already it's come in the today's newspapers, in Business Line, etc. And I request all those who are present here who are non-members of BCIC to also become the members, so you get the automatic notification and the other benefits which come across along with this association. And I really once again thank all the dignitaries on the dais and off the dais. And ladies and gentlemen, please do not forget to join us for the lunch program and the evening program. Before I do that, I would like to have the pleasure of also offering our sincere vote of thanks to the speakers on the dais. To begin with, Mr. Sampath will explain.
Thank you, Mr. Chandramouli, for a wonderful compilation of the session this morning. May I now request our President, Mr. H.V. Harish, to hand over the memento to Mr. V.P. Baligar, who has done an excellent presentation today and given a lot of hope for the state of Karnataka. invite Mr. Chandramouli, Senior Vice President, to hand over the memento to Mr. Ian Felton. Thank you, Mr. Ian, for accepting our invitation. May I request Mr. Anush Sharma, Vice President, to hand over the memento to Mr. Yamamoto-san. We are particularly grateful to Yamamoto-san. He assured me, Sampath, although you are not getting the ambassador, I will be there for your program. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you all, ladies and gentlemen. It has been a very wonderful session, a very good start. Anuj, yeah. Sorry. Sorry, Anuj. Yeah. One memento to Mr. Anush Sharma will present the memento to Mr. Jayanta Chatterjee from ICRA. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for a wonderful kickstart this morning. We wholeheartedly thank all of you, and we all expect you to be there in the evening at 6 o'clock. Please join us for lunch at the poolside. Thank you. All of you, welcome to the 37th Annual General Meeting. This morning we had a wonderful seminar on Chennai, Bangalore, Mumbai Industrial Corridor, and after that in the business session, we had elected our new office bearers. Let me introduce the people in the dais. Mr. H.V. Harish, President, Mr. A.N. Chandramouli. He is the incoming president, Mr. A.N. Chandramouli, who has been elected as president. Mr. Anush Sharma, who has been elected as senior vice president. Mr. Tyagu Valliyappa, he is the elected vice president for the year. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. A few words. May I now request our president, Mr. H.V. Harish, to hand over the bouquet of flowers to our chief guest today, Mr. D.K. Shivakumar, Honorable Minister for Energy, Government of Karnataka. Thank you, sir, for having acceded to our request to be with us this evening. Thank you very much, sir. May I request Mr. Chandramouli, incoming president, to hand over the bouquet to Mr. Vikram Kirloskar. Anuj, we will garland once Mr. Devi Shetty joins, Dr. Devi Shetty. Now, may I now request Mr. H.V. Harish, President, to do the welcome remarks.
Mr. D.K. Shivakumar, Honorable Minister for Energy, Government of Karnataka, Mr. Vikram Kirloskar, distinguished invitees, members of the diplomatic corps, members of media, ladies and gentlemen. As you would have seen in our invitation, we had the Railway Minister also for the program today. We got a message from him this morning that in view of the accident of the railways, as well as a review of the budget, which was called today evening at 4 p.m. by the Prime Minister, he called us and regretted his inability to join us. However, he has promised that he will be with the chamber very soon in a special function to discuss what we had to discuss. So we're sorry that he's not able to make it. Good evening to all of you, and thank you for being with us this evening at the 37th AGM of the Bangalore Chamber of Industry and Commerce, the apex chamber of Industry and Commerce representing the large and medium industry in the state of Karnataka. We thank Mr. Shivakumar, Mr. Vikram Kirloskar, and Dr. Devi Shetty for taking time out to be with us this evening on this important occasion for the Chamber, which we celebrate on an annual basis. In its journey of over 3 decades, in fact, we are in our 37th year, BCIC has been championing relentlessly for industrial development and growth in the state. We've been playing a crucial role in addressing the concerns and issues of industry. With a proactive approach, BCIC has carved itself a niche as a thought leader, not only in the state, but also for national issues. You would be aware that, those of you who saw the short video, that we played significant role in formulation of some of the important national legislation, be it in the tax side, be it in Companies Act and GST and many other areas, where even at the national government, BCIC is recognized as a key force, and recognition of this came when the Tax Administrative Reforms Commission recognized BCIC as the nodal agency for giving inputs on their report. In the recent past, we've gone beyond focusing only on industry, but we started focusing on larger issues, because it's our belief that a healthy industry requires a healthy economy and a healthy society. We are not immune to what is happening in the rest of the society. So we've taken up activities which go beyond the remit of industries. Just as an example, we engage with engineering students to give them awards for developing mobile applications, for which we are thankful to the government of Karnataka for supporting us in that initiative. We gave awards for solid waste management last year to industries which did a good job in view of the garbage issues that Bangalore faces. We also conducted a Karnataka Economic Summit, which is the first such summit by any chamber in any state in the country, to focus on what can we do to make the state's economy better, and not just for industry, but for all the people in the state. We are presently privileged to have a strong government in Karnataka with a full majority, and a strong government in Delhi with a full majority. Therefore, both of them have the ability to perform without pressures of coalition, which we saw for a long time, or lack of a clear majority. The message from the recent elections is very clear. People want development and are in no mood or no longer interested in doles, subsidies, and other freebies, which do not necessarily reach them. I'm sure both governments understand this and will focus on creating economic development through investment in infrastructure and business-friendly policies. I can see some very good green shoots of this thinking. Our railway fares have been increased, which was much necessary. Our Honorable Energy Minister has recently started talking about why do we need to give free power to agriculture, particularly the rich farmers. The laptop distribution in some states has stopped. It's my personal view that Indians now expect to see progress and prosperity, and are no longer swayed by free power which they don't get, allowances which don't reach them, reservation for jobs which don't exist, and so on and so forth. The time is there for development and progress, and that is what wins election, and that is what we've seen in the recent past. I had some points for the railway minister. As I mentioned, he has promised to be with us, but I'd seek your indulgence to talk about some of them. There was a time when China looked to India as the leader in railways. After independence, Indian Railways had 53,000 kilometers of track, as opposed to 22,000 kilometers in China. Freight traffic was similar, with about 44 billion kilometers traveling on Indian road tracks as compared to 39 in China. 6 decades later, almost nothing looks the same. India has managed to lay just 13,000 kilometers of track, while China's government has put together 91,000 kilometers of tracks and plans to build another 30,000 kilometers over the next 7 years. Freight traffic in India amounts to 601 billion kilometers, 601 billion freight ton kilometers in 2011. China does 2,947. China Railways makes a profit. In 1993, China Railways had a big loss, and based on that, they embarked upon a program of reform. which was focused on moving away non-core activities, inducting new technologies, and improving the business side of railways. Today they make a profit. China began operations on its high-speed railway track in 2007, and now it has 9,300 kilometers of track that can handle trains of over 200 kilometers. Our fastest train in comparison is just 120 kilometers. If our railways can run more on commercial principles, I'm sure they can also make a profit, and we will be blessed with a lot of economic growth since railways is among the cheapest modes of transportation for both people and goods. Railways are the largest landowner in the country, and they don't utilize it fully. If they can release some of this land with the current real estate prices, I'm sure they can pay for all the growth and development that they need. Now, some focus on the energy sector and the state of Karnataka. We had, Honorable Minister, we had organized a seminar led by the Karnataka Electric Reforms